Good morning. Not the most appealing set of matches yesterday. Quality lacking. First play, we could have avoided a loss here. Could have got a break even. John H. Anybody? Members know what I'm talking about. Happened with KUPS as well. There's always a way you can cover this if the underdog consents to win to nil. You can have that covered with both teams to score no. And looking back in the perhaps wondering whether the sleeping Norwegian giant Molde would do an HJK and suddenly start springing back into life. Well, they did so yesterday. So we're talking absolute ideals when we retrospectively trade. We're talking AI quality, decision making. Both teams to score no would have been an ideal point at the Molde opener. We were lulled into a false sense here by Brand's in-play stats. So they did have part blame in the loss because I do check in-play stats and the response you can see for yourself. 19 shots, 7 shots on target, 3 off, 9 corners to nil. That's one-way traffic. So Molde, very, very lucky boys yesterday to get the win. As you can see here, the red to the left on Soccer 24. Look at the shots inside the box, 15. They have an octopus in goal for Molde yesterday because this kind of pressure, we normally will get rewarded with an equaliser. So it's just either a very, very good defensive display from Molde's new goalkeeper, Billy the Fish from Viz, or, well, I don't know. Maybe Mr. Magoo up front for Bran, because it was one-way traffic. Just one of those. We had it with KUPS, and the great thing about football trading is there's more matches to come. And whenever I get a loss like this, as I did with KUPS, any future profits I tend to take early in order to dig in to that loss liability. So, for example, if I lost 40, 50 quid yesterday on that match in Bran, and I start getting my next play where I can make something like a £14 green screen at the first occasion, the equaliser, that is a third or thereabouts of your loss liability returned. So whenever you have a loss in a session, do consider what your mum used to tell you: hoover up your greens, eat your greens, collect your green screens at the earliest occasion when you've had a prior loss. And then soon, before you know it, that loss would have been covered. We did that quite easily when KUPS lost 2-0 at the weekend. Looking on to today, and then what I'll do, have a look at the tennis afterwards, because great to see, coincidentally, people like John H picking out some excellent plays. Cameron Norrie, for example. Looking on to today, and my goodness, it's looking awful, isn't it? I think the Irish are here, so let me just pin some of the major sides at the top. Let's take a quick look through some of the Irish Premier Division, Irish First Division matches. Derry are yet to beat a top 6 side, so that's what they have to overcome. There is a very strong under 2.5 goal current for Bohemians, which suggests they might be able to cap Derry. For me, Derry have been one of the eye-catching trading sides this early Irish Premier Division season. Please pay attention to the odds. It's as tricky as it suggests. With Cork and Shelbourne, well, Shelbourne have been consistently beating weaker sides. There is a very, very strong first half scoring and conceding angle there. So you might want to look at the possibility of a first half goal favouring the away side. Cork City newly promoted, albeit they used to be fighting it out with Dundalk for the title back in the day, back before I had grey hair and looked like a sumo wrestler. St Pat's could simply outscore an underperforming Sligo Rovers, who are wrong end of the table. Bit of a drop for them. Possibility of scoring first half as well for St. Pat's. They do have a strong first half scoring record, so look out for that. Sligo Rovers in a spot of bother at the moment. St. Pat's really should take advantage. Another unreliable match. Look at this, 2.7, the favourite. Don't fancy this one at all. Do take the hint from the market, please. It does give you clues. If the professionals can't pick a winner, take the hint. I would expect a comfortable afternoon for Shamrock Rovers, or evening for Shamrock Rovers. Possibility of a 2-0. Looks as comfortable as the odds suggest. Irish First Division 5-0 loss in the head-to-heads. You're going to see. Well, the market thinks there's going to be some revenge for Bray. Finn Harps may be vulnerable if they score first. And watch out for possibility of both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Revenge is on for the 5-0 drubbing Bray took at the hands of Finn Harps earlier on in the season. Well, Treaty are yet to beat a top 5 side, and it's not looking, at least from the market's perspective, as if they will do that today. Cobe love to avoid a draw, so lay any very late draw in this particular match. The team Roy Keane used to play for. Kerry. Well, when you see Kerry odds on, it's normally one of the signs of the apocalypse. They are that bad. But they have scored 2+ goals against 8th and 10th at home, so that might be justified today. They're not the whipping boys that they were in their initial entry into the Irish First Division. They are picking up a couple of wins now, and as I say, this is a real rarity, seeing Kerry at odds on. Well, this could be a bit of a snooze fest. UCD against Athlone, struggling to score 2 goals both sides, so 1.83. It's a bit of a ropey favourites odds. So with that in mind, possibilities of backing 0-0 pre-match and hoping to get out at half-time, expecting a tight unders match. Dundalk are winning ugly. Load of 1-0s. So their odds today, 1.36, suggesting that it might be a little bit more comfortable this evening than those perennial 0-1 wins away from home. Of course, you're skating on thin ice if you can't keep a clean sheet, picking up 1-0s. Wexford, though, are full of surprises. They have beaten 3rd and 4th at home. So just a little bit of caution with an odds-on favourite away from home, with a recent habit of winning 1-0. We might see Wexford punch above their weight this evening. Castellón and Zaragoza is a dead rubber. So be careful there. Don't play, basically, if you're going to be ultra-disciplined about it. Örebro have lost to all of the top 9 and they play 10th today. So maybe a little bit ropey at 2.2 at home. Braga have only been winning really 0-1 against the bottom 3. So it could be a tight enough encounter, but they could be competitive. Again, it's not a match which fills me with delight at all at those kind of odds in that kind of a league. We've got an accompanying podcast to follow this. What that does, it takes all of my manual research, which I do for members at footballtradingprofits.com, mix it in with AI's ability to go into deep dive, deep research mode, and really get into the meat and bones of the matches. Injuries, suspensions, tactics, even the surface of the venue. Is it grass? Is it artificial turf? All those little nuances. It's a great listen. I've got a Meghan Markle sound-alike and her American friend just chewing the bones over Örebro against Braga. Meghan Markle getting very, very enthusiastic about Wexford against Dundalk. So if you want to hear about that Meghan Markle sound-alike, as long as she doesn't start cooking, we'll be okay. So it's really nice, really good, these podcasts. I enjoy listening to them. The discussions are okay. couple of Yankees talking about footy in the Swedish Superettan. It's very interesting. But I've managed to find a way to create these podcasts, and I'll be doing more podcast topics to you on a number of different elements, looking in particularly at last season, asking the deep research to really investigate all of the major leagues last season. Who were the standout teams? And I think you'll be very surprised with the list that it comes up with. Nottingham Forest, of course, stood out from the Premier League perspective. So I'll do all of that. It'll be important information to bring you into next season. But before I go, of course, got a small matter of Grand Slam tennis. I hope you're trading, or at least retrospectively trading. This is a great way to do it, where it costs you absolutely nothing to find out, apart from seeing if this link works or not. I'll be back in a sec. Right, let's have a look at some of these men's Grand Slam angles now. De Minaur, excellent player from Australia with a very worrying Hitler haircut, as you can see there. 2 sets up for a 1.08 shot. What do? Do we take it on? The 2-0 to 2-1? Well, if you had done, of course, you're going to get probably 1.02 to lay. Look at Bublik. Boom, boom, boom. Where did that come from? The rankings, are they tight? 9th against 62nd. Injury might be an issue. Complacency certainly an issue with 2-6-2 leads. First 2 sets, De Minaur should really have put this to bed. Is there any reason for the collapse in the 3rd set? Lost his serve in the 2nd match, and it was all go from there. Very tight games generally on serve for Bublik. He did lose his serve at the end there, and you thought this would be normal service resumed, wouldn't you? With De Minaur fighting back. So a very, very interesting match. Those of you with psychic abilities who laid De Minaur 2-0 up, well done. You'd have absolutely cleaned up. I'm afraid I wouldn't have done that myself, but we're talking absolute ideals. That for me would have been a possible bit of a fun lay, 2-0 up. Lehecka and Davidovich Fokina, 1.73 favourite, losing the first set, wins the second, but loses the match. Play the hint, not the outcome. The outcome is we would have lost. But 1.73, not a strong favourite. Fils, I like. Now, use a little bit of, what's the word? Reading between the lines. We've got a very, very strong favourite, 1.172, 0 up. But what do you see for those 2 sets? I see tiebreakers. When I see tiebreakers, I would be laying Fils 2-0 up because the odds are very, very low. Liability extremely low. Strap in. Off we go with Minaur. Boom, boom. But Fils comes through at the end. Only because it's tiebreakers, very tight as well, suggesting that this Fils is vulnerable to Minaur's game. And indeed, that proved the point. Excellent stuff there. It's just, when you see a tiebreaker, they've only won the set because they've won the point at the right time. Elsewhere, 1.05. Oh, my goodness me. I told you to lay these shorties, eh? Anything 1.1 or lower, you lay. This would be your first one in the bag. 1.05. What's that? 1.05. 25 to 1 return. Not too shabby, eh? Look at this one as well. So you'd have got 2 of them in yesterday. Got to lay these shorties. I keep telling you, 1.1 and lower. You'd have got 1.08 in, 1.05 in yesterday. It's just got to be done. Losing the first set, Zverev, and then fighting back afterwards. Where's the value? I don't know if we'd have got any value out of this one. Maybe backing 3-1 set betting might have provided you with some value because he still has to win 3 consecutive sets. So 2 odds on favourites going down. That's what we're after. Look at this, 2 tiebreakers for Fonseca, the Fons. Tiebreaker again, first set. Again, I would have taken on Fonseca here, winning his 2 tiebreakers against the Frenchman. Frenchman could play above himself. Rublev can be, he's always at this tipping point, Rublev. Redhead, just of exploding mentally. You could have seen that, I suppose, if you're watching these tiebreaker sets there. So the story of the tennis yesterday is 2 1.08, 1.05 favourites going down. And I do tell you, lay anything under 1.1. You'd have been amply rewarded there yesterday. Superb stuff. Monfils. I would be looking at Monfils winning at least a set. Yes, certainly. He won the second set. 2-1. Maybe lay Draper. But this is Jack Draper. This is top 10 Draper. This is taking over from Andy Murray Draper. So we've got another encounter here with tiebreakers. Mizelic against odds-on favourite Shapovalov. So from a different perspective now, I'm taking on this odds-on favourite because he won in tiebreakers. I'm taking on this underdog because he won in tiebreakers. I.e., he's won the right point at the right time. Look how tight these tiebreakers are, 7-5 and 8-6. Shapovalov, you should have a degree of confidence that he's not being outplayed. And boom, back. So we're still getting, just for that Grand Slam, the men's Grand Slam angle, we're getting trading angles. I do keep a little distance from the ladies' game. I find it very difficult to trust them, to be honest. Their service games can collapse all of a sudden. There's other factors involved as well. Anything yesterday, any odds-on favourites cocking it up? Well, do look immediately at the 3 setters. You'll have seen, well, no, I wouldn't have taken on that. Buzas Maniero. So any 3 setters, 1.25, Badoza losing the first set, winning the next 2. That's just a simple angle you're after. As I've said before, you can go as deep as you want into tennis. You can be looking at into the games themselves and trading those, trading service games based on statistics, trading second serves based on poor returns from the opponent, that kind of thing. You can go as deep as you want into your tennis, or you can do it as simple as you want. Play it like you play your goals. You're 2-0 up. Don't deserve to be 2-0 up because they're very tight. From a footballing perspective, we call this maybe an own goal and a penalty, because they've been gifted to the underdog. Then we look for the comeback. 2-1, it's your first out. 2-2, you get a bigger return. 3-2, of course, you get a massive return. But if they didn't make it 3-2, you will lose. So that's your angle out, ideally, at 2-2. 31st against 153rd as well. Maybe he's 153rd because he's had some injury concerns. We don't know. But this is a poor result for Shapovalov. Despite the comeback, we'd have got a trading outcome out of that. So I won't be looking at today's tennis. I'll look retrospectively. But my old pal Mazzetti, absolute standout again. Similar odds to last time. Should be a 3-0. I play the day as it unfolds. But don't forget, 1.08 lost. 1.05 lost. Got to lay this lad here. Got to lay Mazzetti, despite him being absolutely superb. He is playing a South American. They are adept on clay. Looking at the ladies' game, got to lay Swiatek. She has had a couple of recent defeats. Sabalenka as well. And Paolini. It's a very simple technique. It's called the Yaz trade. The only way is up. Isn't it? If you're backing at 1.01, you can't actually. Because it will be 1.01 on the right-hand side of Betfair. But if you could back, 100 quid, win 1. No, it's got to be laid, hasn't it? The only way to get a win is 0.01 point move downwards. But if you're laying, it's infinity, all the way up to 1,000. Back any odds you like if Alcaraz starts cocking up. Don't forget, these are only human beings. So remember that. So have a great day today. From a footballing perspective, it's my day off today. But I might, if I am up and about this evening, I am doing a lot of hours because I've got a new assistant. It's ChatGPT Plus. It's just a wonderful piece of kit. It's bringing you these podcasts and even more podcasts over this summer. Something for you to listen to with old footballing Meghan Markle and her pal, in between eating burgers, no doubt. Have a great day today. Apart from the Irish Premier Division, First Division, it looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it? Not the greatest set of fixtures on the planet. But there is plenty of trading angles in the Irish Premier Division, First Division. Have a great day. Do watch out for the podcast, which will be on Telegram for members of footballtradingprofits.com. And for those of you who want access to the podcast, which is members only, but will be free for you through the month of June, make sure you sign up. And all of the links are in the description. Sign up for the e-letter. You get yourself a daily podcast for the month of June. Every single major football match covered in depth. We're talking in depth here. Injuries, even the condition of the turf, weather, and any unique elements like a silent protest in the Copenhagen match yesterday, which didn't stop them spanking Silkeborg. So do sign up for the e-letter. These are really good podcasts. Here is the Irish podcast today with our American podcast friends. Have a great day, and I'll see you for the usual busy Saturday.